Hello and welcome to my channel. Today this video is talking about my car wishlist for Forza Horizon 4 for cars below the year 1989. Now I thought I'd do the videos in blocks of 3. If you've seen my 2 previous videos I made before, the 2010s and the 2000s and on the 1990s videos, please take a look at them, take a look at my wishlist, and of course the same as this video, add your wishlist down below because we could make a part 2 of this video and hopefully get Turn 10 to notice my videos and hopefully add these cars into the game. Again, Forza Horizon 4 is going to be based in the UK, which would be a great idea for Turn 10 to add lots of British cars into the game to make it suitable, just like Horizon 3 did by adding lots of Australian cars into the game when the game is based in Australia. Moving on, the car I'd like to the top 10 cars I'd like to see in Forza Horizon 4. First of all, the 1976 Rover SD1. Now this was quite a step up in British Leyland cars, really. It was the first car that had the 3.5 litre Rover V8, which was then used in many other cars later on, and carried on for years and years and years until I think it was like the late, sort of maybe early 2000s, the engine stopped production. So it did last a very long time. This engine was very reliable. Well, I say very reliable, it's kind of reliable. But it was a very powerful at the time. It had 155 brake horsepower, bringing it to 123 miles an hour and 0 to 60 in 8.4 seconds. The Rover SD1 was a very quick car at its time. It beat its competitors at everything. It had a better miles per gallon figure, it had a better top speed, a better 0 to 60 time, and better brake horsepower figure. Then the competition was the BMW 2500. I'm not entirely sure what car that was. I'm not entirely sure. I've never seen a BMW 2500, but I looked on a website and that's what it said. And also a Jaguar XJ, the straight 6 version of it, at least the 4.2 litre Jaguar XJ. So yeah, the performance of this car was very good. It beat the competition quite drastically. Yeah, it's not much to say really, apart from that it was quite technologically advanced car for the time, and yes, I think it would be a great addition to have into Forza Horizon 4, as it's quite an iconic British car, especially the fact we need more Rovers in the game. I don't think we've ever had a Rover in the game at all. We've had MGs, but never a Rover. MG was a partner company of Rover, if you didn't know. The next car I'd like to see is the 1962 TVR Grandura Mark III. Grandura Mark III. This car wasn't a particularly popular car. It was very rare now. It wasn't very quick, to be honest. I think that's probably why it wasn't very loved. But again, it was a very good looking car. Again, it's a TVR. It's very sort of different to how other cars were at the time. It did only have a 1.7 litre 4-cylinder with a top speed of 98 miles an hour and bring it up to 0 to 60 in 12 seconds. So it wasn't a very quick car at all. But I think that'd be a good addition to have into the game because it's something quite sort of quintessentially British again. Something like that. It's sort of a very classical sports car that looks really good. It's a little compact sports car, and even though it's not very quick, it's still a good looking car to have in the game, and something sort of a bit diverse really, to diverse the car list a little bit, have something a little bit slow to have in the game. I know it's pointless having slow cars, but for me, I like to drive any car in the game, whether it's slow, fast or completely stupid, even though I don't like to drive the Hot Wheels cars and that sort of thing because they're just rubbish. But I like realistic cars. Moving on, I'd like to see the 1973 Triumph Stag. Now they're going, this is one of my top 5 favourite cars. I know I've probably said top 5 favourite cars and I've gone over that list now. But the Triumph Stag is a fantastic car. I've actually sat in one of these in real life, and the one I sat in at the original 3 litre Triumph V8, which is the one I'd like to see in Forza, as it's the proper Triumph rather than having the Rover V8 from the SD1 that we spoke about earlier. Now the Triumph Stag was such a good looking car. It had a hard top roof. If Forza doesn't add the addition to open and close your roof, then a hard top roof would be fantastic to have, so you don't get wet when it rains, because it can rain a lot in the UK, and especially when you've got the changing seasons. Next thing I like to, well, let's talk about a little bit more before we talk about the next car. The Triumph was a very good car at the time. It produced 146 brake horsepower, top speed of 116 miles an hour, and 0 to 60 in 9.3 seconds. So it completely blew that TVR out of the water, really. Even though it was only, well, it was almost 11 years later, so I suppose it's going to blow it out of the water quite a bit. But the Triumph Stag is such a good looking car, and if you've ever heard one, I've heard one in real life. As I said, I've sat in one. When they revved it up for me, and it sounded really, really nice. So it'd be good if they can put that in Forza Horizon 4. Next car I'd like to see is the 1971 Jensen Interceptor Mark III. Why hasn't this car been added into the game? It was in Gran Turismo back in the day when they had lots of cars, not repeats, and that was a fantastic car in the game, and I'd love to see it in Forza Horizon 4, especially now with the great graphics, and I prefer Forza than Gran Turismo now, so it'd be great to see a fantastic car put into the game. The Jensen Interceptor was designed by an Italian, built by the British, and has an American 7.2 litre V8, produces 390 brake horsepower, bringing it to a top speed of 143 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds. It's more powerful than that Triumph Stag we mentioned earlier, but then again it does have an absolutely massive 7.2 litre V8, which again is a fantastic thing to have. Again, it sounds very nice as well if you've ever heard one of them. Next car I'd like to see is a bit of a novelty car, really, to be honest. It's a bit of a stupid car. I bet there's a lot of people out there who are going to frown upon me wanting this car, but it was quite mad. It was quite sort of innovative. It was very, very futuristic for what the car was in the time. It was a 1976 Aston Martin Lagonda. Probably a lot of you are just frowning and putting your hands in your head and yeah, just like, oh dear, why does he want this? But it's actually quite a rare car. I've seen one of these in real life, and it's really, really low. You can sort of nearly on your knees, but the car's bonnet is still underneath your head. It's so low down. It was so low, but so innovative, and it has the crazy dashboard where it sort of acts like the Lamborghini Reventon's dashboard, where the dial sort of spins upwards. It's sort of electrical dial where the numbers sort of spin up like a dial. It's quite weird. To be honest, I can't really describe it. I have to really see pictures of it, to be honest. But it's very, very innovative for its time. It did have a 5.3 litre V8 producing 284 brake horsepower, bringing it to a top speed of 148 miles an hour, and 0 to 60 in 8.4 seconds. Not too much of a performance car, but then again, it's more of a luxury car more than a performance car. This Aston Martin Lagonda was partially designed and built by Jaguar as well, so it did have parts of Jaguar bits in there as well, but it was at the time where Jaguar and Aston Martin were struggling quite a bit, so yeah, a bit of an unfortunate turn for them. But again, it'd be cool to see this car in the game, as it is very innovative for the time. It's very rare. Like, the chances of you ever driving one of them are very, very slim. So yeah, it was quite a good idea to add this car into the game. Sticking with the Aston Martin theme, the 1961 Aston Martin DB4 GT Bertone Jet. This thing is beautiful, man. Like, this is a really nice classical car that is, again, quintessentially British. I keep saying that, but it is what it is. It has a 3.7 litre straight 6, producing 302 brake horsepower, top speed of 150 miles an hour, and 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds, which is actually the fastest 0 to 60 time on the list so far. So, actually, I think it's the fastest, one of the fastest in the list I'm going to mention about today. So, yeah, it is a pretty good, quick car, especially that it's built by Bertone, which I think did some Ferraris at the time as well, and even recently. So they know what they're doing. Next car I'd like to see is a 1973 Lotus Europa Special Twin Cam. This is a very rare car. You don't often see this in many other games. Again, I have seen it in Gran Turismo 4 when I played that back in the day. But it'd be really nice, again, to see Forza implement that into their game. Again, if it being British, it's very, very suitable for the game. And it's quite a nice looking car. It's very sort of, I can't really describe it. It's quite sort of innocent, I could say. But it's quite a good looking car, I think. It's only got a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder, bringing it to 126 miles an hour, 126 brake horsepower, 123 miles an hour. That's if I get it right, not twist it round. 0 to 60 in 7.4 seconds, so it's not too bad. It's not bad for its time, especially as a very small 1.6 litre. It's not too bad at all. Next car I'd like to see is the 1973 AC300 ME. Now, this car's very rare. I've never seen one of these in real life. Didn't really ever heard of it really until I saw pictures of it on Google one time, and then it was like, oh, that looks really nice. What is it? And then found out it was an AC. Now, it'd be great to see this car in the game. It is like AC's equivalent to a Lotus, as it only has a 3 litre 4-cylinder, bringing it to 140 brake horsepower, 129 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. So it's not that bad. It's a bit of a little British sports car again, really, like the Lotus Elan and the Lotus Europa, and cars such like that, the MGB. Cars are suitable like that. It's pretty much that's what its competition is, and it does it quite well. At 129 miles an hour, it's not too bad. It's quite average for the size of the engine and the age of the car. The next car I'd like to see is the 1967 AC 428 convertible. Now this thing's beautiful. I say it's more beautiful than the Aston Martin. I know it may offend some people, but I think it's actually a fantastic looking car. It has got a massive 7 litre V8 producing 350 brake horsepower, top speed of 140 miles an hour, and 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds. So this thing is really powerful for its age as well. So again, it'd be really nice to see this car in the game, especially with its fantastic and beautiful looks of it as well. And AC has never ever been featured in the game in Forzas. I've only seen Shelbys, which do have the Shelby Cobra, or Cobra, however you want to say that. I've seen that in the game, but they haven't had an AC version. But again, as I keep mentioning the name, Gran Turismo had the AC in there. They had the AC and had the Shelby, so it'd be really nice if we get to see some AC cars into the game as well. Especially the fact that they are very British and they did use American engines, so it was a good combo of American engine, American sound and raw power, and British build quality and British design, and sometimes Italian design as well. The last car on the list is the 1970 Triumph Spitfire Mark IV. The Mark IV is definitely the better looking car out of the lot, but it's not very powerful, let's say the least. It's very slow. But then again, it's one of the oldest cars on the list. It's like one of the 3rd oldest car on the list, so again, we've got to give it a little bit of slack. Again, this car's a very nice little British sports car. Diverse things if it was invented at the time. The Jensen Healey, things like that. The car's very similar to that. And it's again a very quintessentially British sports car. And I love those old sports cars, especially the Triumph Spitfire. If you can put the roof up and down, or you can have the hardtop, I don't really mind. The hardtop's a better looking car, I think. But then again, the convertible is quite nice as well. So I don't know, I'm torn between the two, whether to have a convertible or not. But anyway, let's talk about the performance of this car. It only has a 1.3 litre 4-cylinder, again, pretty much a lawnmower engine, so it's not very powerful. With only 75 brake horsepower, bringing it to 90 miles an hour, and 0 to 60 in 15.8 seconds. So not a very quick car at all. There is me saying that the TVR Grantura is very slow, where this Triumph sort of breaks the list up a little bit, and it's very slow. But then again, it's a very nice looking car. I don't know why you wouldn't want it in the game. I know it's very slow, but it looks really cool. It's very suitable for the game, especially when they've got cars as confirmed by Turn 10 of the MGB GT. So that'd be something to verse that, even though I think the MG would beat it. But anyway, hopefully the classing system is better in Forza Horizon 4. That's it for this video today. Thank you very much for watching this far into my video. Again, put your wish list down below, and hopefully we might make a part 2, including your car list. Now, we'll of course shout you out and mention you about, we'll credit you saying about what cars you wanted. So yes, that's the plan at least. Thank you very much for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye.